everything obesity does to you.
Fat is a good thing.
Obesity.
Your body uses it for energy when carbohydrate stores run out.
Obesity.
It protects your
Obesity.
organs from trauma,
Obesity.
and cells need it to make phospholipids to build their
I'm
cell
just gonna shut up.
membranes. There is no one specific body fat percentage that is ideal, just as there is no one ideal body weight. Instead, the World Health Organization suggests a range of body fat that should be maintained. For men, this is between 11% and 21% body fat, and women between 23 and 31% body fat. But too much of anything can be bad. When body fat percentages exceed these ranges, the extra weight alters the mechanics and biochemistry of the body. For clarification, the body fat percentage discussed in this video is in the morbid obese range. Morbid obesity in men is a body fat percentage of 40%.
I could never imagine myself being fat. I just want to say that, and I dropped my headphones. But yeah, I could never imagine myself being fat. Being like fat. Like, you know what I mean? Like fat. Yeah, I could never ever imagine myself being fat. I might get a little belly now and then, but other than that, no.
Morbid obesity
Like
puts
that.
extra stress on the
I
lower
could never
joints
be
and
like
bones.
never.
Load-bearing
I'm not
bones
judging.
can fracture over time, and
But
tendons can be
how?
damaged. You might wonder, if excess weight puts stress on the joints, why don't muscular people experience the same joint problems as those who are obese? After all, muscle weighs more than fat. The key difference is muscle supports the joints. When muscles contract, they help move bones more efficiently and stabilize the joints during motion, reducing strain and improving joint mechanics. Fat, by contrast, does not provide a functional movement. It's stored chemical energy that acts as dead weight,
Crazy.
and too much of this dead weight can cause damage over time.
Imagine being that big.
For example, morbid obese weight
Nah, I
can
couldn't.
cause the arch of the foot to collapse, known
What
as
the
fallen
fuck?
arches. The
Huh?
arch of the foot is maintained by a tendon called the posterior tibial tendon.
I did not know
Over
that was a
time,
thing.
this tendon becomes strained from excess weight and collapses, resulting in flat feet.
Oh my god.
Excessive fat around the abdomen causes a forward rotation of the pelvis, creating an anterior tilt or forward lean of the body. This increases the arch of the lower back, causing strain on the hip flexors and the lumbar spine. The femur and tibia, being load-bearing, support the majority of the body's weight. These bones will naturally get stronger as you gain weight. However, in a morbidly obese body, they become weaker and are more prone to fractures. This phenomenon is due to the obesity paradox. When bone is placed under stress, it will adapt to this stress by increasing its density and strength. This is known as Wolff's Law. This is also why, as you put on muscle, your bones become stronger. Paradoxically, in morbidly obese individuals, their bones, especially the load-bearing femur and tibia, become weaker. This is caused by an increase in marrow adiposity. Essentially, excess fat begins to seep into the bone marrow and disrupts the bone's microarchitecture. This weakens the internal structure of the bone, making it less dense and more prone to fragility fractures. But one of the most noticeable biomechanics of an obese body is the gait, aptly named the obese gait. The obese gait is characterized by a widened swing and a shorter stride. When walking, the feet tend to be in a longer double support phase, meaning both feet are on the ground at the same time for a longer duration than is normal. An obese body walks in this manner to lower their center of gravity, be more stable, and most importantly,
And they can't run. They can't run, right? A fat person cannot run. Because I feel like if they run, they will break their legs.
reduce the load on the hip and knee joints. When you walk, force is sent through your knees and hips as your feet hit the ground. In response, your body generates downward forces through muscles and joint structures to support your weight and keep you balanced. This interaction between the ground pushing up and your body pushing down creates a load on your hip and knee joints. This load puts 3 times your body weight on your knees and 6 times your body weight on your hips.
That's crazy.
For an obese body, the multiplied weight is a much heavier load on the joints, making conventional walking uncomfortable and tiring. By taking a wider step, it changes the angle at which the force is transferred through their joints. This spreads out the
Just
load
don't be
more
this
evenly
fat.
across the hips and knees,
I just don't get the
thereby
point
reducing
of being this
discomfort.
fat.
Though this walking pattern provides some relief, its abnormal movement causes muscle atrophy and joint damage. For example, the obese gait can lead to genu valgum, also known as knee knock. Knee knock is a condition in which the knees angle inward and may touch or come close together when the knees are fully extended during walking or standing. Muscles like the gluteus medius, gluteus maximus, and tensor fasciae latae help stabilize the pelvis and keep the femur aligned over the knee. However, during a wide gait, these muscles are used less and begin to atrophy. Stabilization decreases, the pelvis tilts forward, the femur angles outward, and the knees take on more load, thereby collapsing inward.
What the fuck?
So far, we've seen what morbid obesity does to the mechanics of the body. Let's see what happens on a molecular level.
On a molecular... Oh my god, my hair. What is going on with my hair? Let me just grab a comb. Oh my god, my... What the Fuck it, I can't be asked. I cannot be asked. Let's just continue watching the bloody video, yeah?
Morbid obesity increases the LDL cholesterol, or bad cholesterol in your blood.
I cannot hear
Too much
anything.
LDL causes plaque to build up in the arteries, increasing the risk of heart disease. This is due to high levels
Do you
of
feel like
fatty
you're learning
acids in the
something?
blood, which impair
I
the
feel like
body's
I am.
ability to allocate fat for energy.
I got back
Let's
home,
see
by the
how
way.
this works. When your muscles need energy, they break down glucose from long-chain carbohydrate stores, called glycogen. These glycogen stores are found in muscle and liver cells. When these stores are used up from fasting or high-intensity activity like running, the body switches to fat reserves for energy production. In order to get fat from your adipose tissue to your muscle tissue, fat is released into the bloodstream. It's carried to the liver where it's packaged into particles of cholesterol called VLDL cholesterol. The liver releases these particles of VLDL cholesterol back into the blood, where they bind to muscle cells, get absorbed, and are used for energy. In cases of morbid obesity, fat is released into the blood, not because muscles need it for energy, but because adipose stores are overfilled. As a result, fat will occasionally leak into the bloodstream. The liver packs this fat into VLDL cholesterol particles and sends it back into the blood. However, VLDL cholesterol does not get taken up by muscle cells, as they have not depleted their own glycogen stores, so it sits in the blood until it's needed. When VLDL stays in the blood for a long time, it's converted to LDL cholesterol by lipase enzymes. LDL has a very high cholesterol composition, making it very sticky, which is why it's the bad cholesterol. Due to its sticky surface, LDL cholesterol will bind to openings on blood vessels that are created from inflammation. When it gets wedged into these openings, it gets stuck and is converted to plaque, causing atherosclerosis. As LDL cholesterol builds up in the arterial wall, it impedes blood flow until it causes a complete blockage, causing a heart attack. Excess fat doesn't just clog your arteries, it clogs your liver as well, causing fatty liver disease. Fatty liver...
See, there's no good benefits of being fat. Just don't be fat, bro. I just don't get it. Why be fat? You know, another thing, I can't eat that much food, you know. I mean, like, to eat that much food, look, to get that fat, you need to eat a lot of food, right? And how am I supposed to eat that much food? I can't eat that much food. I do get hungry, but don't get me wrong, I can't sit there and eat like fucking 3-4 cakes, you get me? I can't do that.
Liver disease is a condition where liver tissue becomes scarred from storing too much fat. As adipose cells become less efficient at storing fat, the body has to store it in a secondary location, which in this case is the liver. Over time, the liver will break down this fat for energy, but when it does, it also makes a small amount of toxic metabolites from fat metabolism. In a normal body weight, the amount of fat stored in the liver is very small, so the amount of toxins made is very low and doesn't cause any serious problems. When the liver is overloaded with fat, it makes large amounts of toxins. As the toxins accumulate, they cause inflammation, resulting in cirrhosis of the liver. Liver damage is a serious problem because it becomes less efficient at breaking down toxins. Toxins like ammonia, alcohol, medications, and even environmental toxins linger in the body, causing additional problems.
Alcohol?
The only other way your liver is this damaged by lifestyle is by drinking excessive amounts of alcohol, known as alcohol-induced cirrhosis. Let that sink in for a second. Morbid obesity is so harmful to your body that your liver has the same damage as a freaking alcoholic. Hopefully this video makes it clear what obesity
Yeah, there's no point. There is no point of getting fat.